Hello, welcome to Stitch 22. This is week 17 and I'm going to introduce you to going loopy. There are several stitches which you can consider a loop stitch. They all have slightly different variations and they all have different names. Now this is called a threaded running stitch. And as you can see on this piece of fabric, I've already done the stitches, the running stitches, and now I'm with a contrasting thread to show you I'm going loopy. And you can weave the thread this in and out. You don't go through the surface, you can go anywhere you like, you can meander. I'm just having a little bit of fun here. You can go wherever you wish and meander, loopy, keep it nice and rounded and rhythmical. Or you can do it in neat little rows. Right, and another stitch I want to introduce you to, which makes loops, is a stitch called turkey work, derived from the Turkish rugs, and it's acquired by the embroidery world, so you can cut all these loops afterwards and make them a sort of a tufted surface if you wish. So let me show you how to make the loops. It's very much like a back stitch this time. So the threaded running stitch was based on a running stitch, and this is based on a back stitch where you go forwards and then backwards. Not dissimilar to things you've done in the past. So every other stitch one is very loose and loopy, and then the next one you do sort of locks the loop and stops it coming undone, and this one is a tight back stitch. Then you do a loose one, then you do a tight one. So it's alternating, and you of course can leave the loop as long as you like. So I'll just finish off on that one. So turkey work or a looped back stitch, but row after row after row, and then you can then cut them afterwards. I think they're quite good fun. Now another stitch I'd like to introduce you to, a loop stitch, and this is called a detached loop stitch. And you can do these, you can sprinkle these around, do them wherever you like. You don't need to stick to, it's not a continuous stitch, although obviously you go from one little place to another. And it's based on forming a loop with your thumb. Your thumb comes in very handy with making loop stitch. You go over the thread that formed the loop, the beginning of the loop, and come out just underneath the thread, and then you go over the final part of it, and that is what locks it and stops it coming apart. And once again, so you come up, form the loop with your thumb, go over the fabric, the thread, into the fabric, come out underneath the thread, just underneath the beginning of the loop, and then place the needle in, and that locks it. So it forms a sort of a crisscrossy. So this is detached loop. Now the final one I'm going to show you is more complex, slightly more complex, but it's based on a cross stitch, and you can probably see this along here. I'm doing a little row of them, and you can, if you wish, make use a little shape to make all your loops the same length if you should so wish. And here's a little bit of credit card which I've just cut off, an old plastic one. Now I'm bringing the thread up through the fabric. I'm going above it a little small way, and then coming back to, not unlike a back stitch, but I'm not going to do, I'm going to use my threader to make sure that all these are going to be the length. But once in my life I'm doing something irregular. And then putting the needle down, very like we did before, and then bringing it up just below. So can you see it forms a sort of a cross stitch? And then you're ready to do the next one next door to it. One more, and then I'll go across. Very, very like the previous stitch I was showing you, which is actually called plush stitch. I think that it also is derived from the surface, the need for a surface to be cut. Now, how about cutting some loops? I can assure you they won't look as neat and as tidy as a that's the idea. If all those rows had been trimmed, you could actually make a rug-like surface. Well, thank you very much for listening, and do enjoy your loop stitches. So go loopy this week, and I look forward to seeing you on Monday with a new stitch. Bye bye.